Interior podcast studio. Nate, it's words about books, Ben.
It's words about books, Nate.
we just jumping right in, I guess. It's Interior Chinatown by an author. I didn't write down the author. That's your job.
It's Charles Yu, I think, but I just want to make sure.
Yes, Charles Yu. And after this book, Charles me.
I don't know what that means.
This one it wasn't voted on by our patrons.
Sure
Each
wasn't.
of our patrons selected, I believe it was 2 books or 3 books. And we put it on a wheel and we spun it. And it landed on Interior Chinatown. If you want to get in,
y'all get 1 book from now on.
if you want in on this amazing Patreon action, drop by our Patreon. For $2, you get a poll each month, and also sometimes that poll is just a big spinning wheel.
Okay, it's not. Yeah. So,
and
like,
if
not
we raise
a poll.
enough money, then Ben can make this his full-time job.
Yeah. No, so we'll do a little about the author since Nate seems unfamiliar.
You will do about the author. I will sit here. Well, I was going to say in respectful silence, but I can't guarantee that. I will definitely interrupt you.
So, Charles Yu, he wrote Interior Chinatown from his own experience and from his parents' experience. I believe he is the child. He is the first generation American child of Taiwanese immigrants. He is actually a pretty accomplished guy. He has a bachelor's in molecular and cellular biology.
And in his free time, he decided to write this?
Yeah, he became a screenwriter. He's written on just a ton of shows. He did Westworld,
Friends.
I don't know if he did Friends.
Probably didn't do Friends.
I think they've been trying to make a live action Akira for some time. I think
Why? Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
I know.
It's fine the way it is.
I know.
You don't need one. They tried to make an American one too.
Well, this would be a live action American one. Yeah. Because
don't touch it.
He was going to be he wrote a screenplay. And I guess, oh God, is Taika Waititi going to direct? No, that's not the right choice.
No. Stop it.
No.
Leave it alone. If you want to watch Akira, you watch the original. It's fine.
Yeah. So, accomplished writer, accomplished lawyer. He's a multi-threat. He's smarter than us, Nate.
Says you. I got 2 degrees and a postmaster certification. I still win.
Okay.
It's all about the quantity.
It's quantity. Yeah. It's not about your accomplishments.
The writing stuff doesn't even count.
The writing
purely academic.
Okay. That's the stance Nate's taken. I'll go ahead and admit he's smarter than me. So that brings us to Interior Chinatown, which, to talk about Interior Chinatown, you need to talk about the way Interior Chinatown is written.
I listened to it on Audible.
I read this one because I actually find myself more distracted by things I don't like if somebody's saying them to me than if I just read them. There's something about it being delivered in my own internal monologue that softens the blow. It's not a book I would have picked for myself, specifically because of the format.
Yeah.
It is a screenplay. And in addition, there's a lot made in all the reviews of it being in a screenplay format. And that's fine. that it's in a screenplay format. We've actually read a screenplay before, but
is that the Aliens?
Yeah, the Aliens. But I don't like the screenplay format for myself. But that everybody talks about this, and that's not the most confusing part of the book, that it's written as a screenplay.
No.
The most confusing part of the book is that it takes place in a dream world.
What? No, it doesn't, Ben.
Sometimes it doesn't.
Real world.
Sometimes it is the real world.
And also sometimes it's a metaphor. I think I told you this. No, I think you beat me to the gun. I was going to save it for the podcast, then you said it. I am starting to understand and appreciate Tolkien more when he says he doesn't care for allegory.
He does not care for allegory.
And you know what? I get it. I understand your stance.
The dream world, not the screenplay format, is where I started to get thrown off a little bit. Because we'll do a summary. I'm not trying to skip the summary again like I did with Hunger Games, but I do feel like you have to get out of the way that it's about the Asian American experience. Kind of
my
like
experience.
These are choices you're making. There is a character that is a quarter. Was she a quarter Japanese? I can't remember. But
I'm gonna say yes.
But she passed for white, and she talks about her own relationship with, her identity and how it was complicated. And I did think of you.
I feel that. Oh, she's a quarter Taiwanese.
Yeah. I did think of you.
Yeah.
And how you were
should often think of me.
How you were probably going to say something really
I connect with this.
Cancelable.
This is my experience.
But they can't cancel you because
I am a quarter Japanese.
Yep.
Undisputed fact. But I could pass for white.
If you could see me squirming right now. So
my grandma was a prisoner of war.
Is that true?
That is true.
Wow, I didn't know that. Her sister
were picked up by the Russians.
Oh, shit.
When they invaded Manchuria. Let's not talk about that part. Let's not talk about
Why was your grandmother in Manchuria?
I believe my grandmother's father ran a local paper in Manchuria. Okay. And from what I hear, when the Russians came in, he dressed up as a woman to try to escape being captured.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God. So this is the other reason I wouldn't have picked for words about books. So obviously this is about the Asian American experience. It's about the immigrant experience. It's about being raised first generation. An experience I have not had, and
I feel that
can offer precious little insight into, and I'm afraid that Nate is going to offer a lot of insight into. And oh boy, I feel like I should be drinking for this episode.
It's not too late. Do you want to run down to the liquor store?
Oh God. Oh, it was a good run. So I do have one thought right up front, is that I think Charles Yu has a lot of interesting thoughts and perspectives on the topic, especially as it relates to like representation and Hollywood.
Yeah.
I found some of the takes to be
dated.
Yeah, but not in the sense that I think racism's better now. I know it's
We had a black president, Ben. Racism ended in 2009 when he was sworn in.
boy did it come back in 2020 though for so many reasons.
2017.
No, I'm thinking specifically for the Asian community. 2020 was a rough one.
Oh, yeah, we don't talk about that. That's
once we swear that's the problem.
Xi Jinping as our president.
Ay. Manchuria, you say. Anyway.
They called it Manchukuo, but
They called it, yeah.
God.
I know what they called it. So what I was saying is like the form it takes. It doesn't really address the like COVID. And I mean this like I think came out in 2020, so he wouldn't have had a chance.
Good year.
It
did come out in 2020.
Obviously in 2020 it demonstrated that there's still a ton of racism.
January of 2020. So it was right before everything kind of got real bad.
Yeah. So no, obviously there was there's a ton of very complicated dynamics at play within race. Like I'm trying to think of how to word this. It felt very much like a 1980s version of the way racism sort of manifested on TV and stuff. Whereas in 2025, I'm not saying there's not racism. I'm just saying it looks a little different. And I was a little thrown off by that because I was like, what? Some of it was like, what point was he trying to make?
That Bruce Lee is God. We should all aspire to be Kung Fu guy.
Yeah.
Which isn't a stereotype that they had when I was growing up, at least not around here. I don't know. The stereotype if you were Asian was that you were a really smart guy, not that you were going to do Kung Fu on someone.
Yeah, that was kind of my thing because I've always I've heard the whole like typecasting thing. I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and the main point remains where neutral roles, where the character's ethnicity really plays no part in the story, often default to white.
Yeah,
and that's a problem. And so like that's the larger point is that you have to play a role that the casting directors or whoever commonly associate with Asianness, like a doctor or a scientist, or and it gets into all the problematic stuff of that like model minority, and it kind of puts it's the problem with anything like that. It puts people into a box, and obviously they're complicated people capable of the full range of human experience, and it's not fair to for that to be their only representation. I get that. There's a lot of times he comes up to making a point about something very complicated. Like, for example, America, obviously, and he calls it America's original sin, slavery. And so there's tons of
tied closely to our second sin of wiping out the native population.
Oh yeah, we got a lot.
That's a whoopsie,
Yeah. Oh god. But he talks about the complicated relationship between racism against Asians, racism against Black people, and how he can sometimes feel jealous of the way Black people get to be represented as cool in TV and movies. And there's a Black character who will call out that, you're kind of being part of the problem there. Like, oh, you're jealous of me? You think I'm well represented on TV? We suffer from the same problem of we don't just get to be people. We have to be cool. That's still a box you're trapped in. And so he comes really close to saying something about that, and then kind of just moves on.
Yeah.
And there's also like the relationship between like misogyny and racism, and he comes really close to saying something about that, and then he kind of moves on. And I don't blame him because it's really complicated.
I mean, if you're gonna bring it up and talk about it, you might as well bring it up and talk about it.
I think he's trying to figure out his own thoughts, and I think he is trying to be honest, and that's why I feel like maybe the ending the trial with a kung fu fight was maybe like a little bit ironic. It's like, oh, this is really complicated, and I just realized I can't solve race relations in America. Hiya.
Like ogres.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, what do we do with the upper class exploiting everyone else to the point that they're rewriting their genetic code and it's a hellscape? I guess we just kill the main character, or to be concluded never. Goodbye. Struggle continues.
Yeah, it's toughy. So that's what I feel like every time. The dream logic is often used to deflect from the problem. The dream logic is that I don't even know how to describe it. They're Chinatown. Okay, the world that they're in is an episode of Law and Order. But
Was there ever a female detective on Law and Order? Like the original?
Oh, the original?
Series?
I don't know.
I know the guy, Jeffrey Donovan, the guy who played Michael Weston, was on there, and he was like assaulting, putting his hands on someone.
That was like one of the last seasons of Law and Order.
And he was like, "Let me tell you something. I don't play by the rules, or I don't play games or something." And then I call them as I see them, or some shit. He just explained it directly to the audience. It was very bad.
Yeah, but they're in a Law and Order like show
called Black and White.
Yeah, and the cops are a black man and a white woman, and the Chinatown is the Chinatown in the show.
Interior Chinatown.
And everybody in Chinatown lives their life in relation to the show, like hoping to get a bit part on the show.
And he's generic Asian man.
Yes.
Or Asian guy. But he wants to be Kung Fu guy. His dad was once Kung Fu guy. ? Because it really sounded like he was a dishwasher.
Well, this is where
he called him Sensei.
He calls him Shifu.
Shifu, that's what it was. That's right.
Oh, jeez. So,
cut that part out, Ben.
No, so this is where I was like, okay, Kung Fu guy makes me think of like Kato from the Green Hornet. Like Kato's there to Bruce Lee to be Kung Fu guy. Which again is like a reference from very long ago. I don't know that Law and Order ever had a Kung Fu guy.
I don't think it did.
That was one of the... I
can't imagine.
Well, yeah, and that was sort of the thing, is like you're forced to imagine the Law and Order episode with Kung Fu guy, but it's a dream logic. It's this cop show. It's just resembles Law and Order.
Yeah, the original Green Hornet Hornet came out in '66, and that had Bruce Lee in it. That was him.
I know. That's why I said that.
Yeah, we all want to be him. Well, a quarter of me wants to be him. Am I counted in this? Is that how this works?
Yeah.
I don't think. I guess the whole point is to the white population. We're all the same, Ben. But there's a lot of Asian communities that maybe don't like Japan for just some strange reason I can't quite put my finger on. I think they might have been up to some shit in like the 30s and the 40s and the 20s.
Is the
and 10s.
It's do you want to talk about the story? You want to start because I think
he's generic Asian guy, but he dreams of becoming Kung Fu guy. And you're right, I struggle to figure out how Kung Fu guy integrates into a plot of a black and white detective who are on again, off. Will they, won't they? Will they, won't they? They get close to kissing, but they're never going to quite kiss. And then, like, does he do the... Where's Kung Fu come in? I don't know, Ben. I don't know. But that's his dream.
But I have to point out, there was an Asian guy in Law & Order. It was B.D. Wong.
Did he do Kung Fu?
No, he was the psychiatrist.
Oh, wow. Wasn't there a psychiatrist on that? That was...
J.K. Simmons was also a psychiatrist.
There you go. I was going to say, the guy who wants pictures of Spider-Man.
Yeah. I guess that was Special Victims Unit.
Oh,
I guess maybe Special Victims Unit just doesn't count.
No, it doesn't. Law and Order, OG, or bust. Drawing a hard line. So yeah, this is Willis. He wants to be a Kung Fu guy.
Yep.
Wants to work his way up from generic Asian guy. And in the interim, he's recognizing that his dad's memory is slipping, and also he's starting to be broke. And mom and dad's relationship isn't really all that rock solid. And did you know he has an older brother who was Kung Fu guy, but then he decided to go off, and he's no longer Kung Fu guy, Ben?
I'm actually unclear if that's his older brother or if they just call him older brother.
I am also unclear. Halfway through my notes, I said, okay, is this real? There's a dead guy now. It's a TV show. Okay. Because they're talking about a dead Asian guy on the TV show. And now generic Asian guy over here has a role with lines. He's not just an extra, but he has to put on an accent, Ben. You have to learn to do the accent even if you don't have the accent.
Mm-hmm.
Because not having an accent is off-putting. And also sometimes they need you to have a really thick borderline racist accent, Ben.
Yeah, I know. Well, and I know that's a thing that certainly people have been told. Again, I feel like that's a really like on the nose kind of racism. That
you could go find that at a stand-up done by that guy with the "Change My Mind" meme.
Yeah, I guess we're really not that. Yeah, sorry, I forgot Austin, Texas exists. So
I like to forget Texas most of the time.
That's where Joe Rogan set up his comedy club, and that's where they locked.
Wow, in liberal bastion of Texas, Austin, Texas.
Well, yeah, he's still gonna smoke weed, but
and he's gonna talk about how ICE is the Gestapo.
Yeah, but he's gonna lock up your cell phone so you can't record him saying slurs during his set.
Living the dream.
Yeah,
it's someone's dream. So our main character doesn't feel like he's a good son, and he tries to avoid his. He helps his parents out financially, but he tries to avoid hanging out with them because it's complicated. Now, Ben, I have a question for you. It's been a few weeks since I read this. Does this ever have a resolution? I think his parents just disappear halfway through the book as he gets a spoiler alert wife. I think his parents are... The last I remember him mentioning his parents is that he doesn't want to introduce his girlfriend to them, and she's like, "Oh," and he's like, "No, it's not you. It's like it's them."
No,
And
he
she
does. He
understands, and
does
then he's like,
introduce his
"Okay."
girlfriend to his mother,
Eventually, yes.
and I think I think she comes back at the end of the book. I don't know what happens to his dad.
I don't know what happens at the end of the book. Honestly, he wakes up and he's in exterior Chinatown. He does have a commentary on how where they live is like a miniaturized representation of the old country, and that's weird to him because he was never in the old country. They like live in a building that's like an apartment complex and also maybe a restaurant at the bottom floor. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah, I think that's the thing, because he's a waiter or something in one of the
Yeah.
scenes. Yeah. No,
His dad was a dish boy, and his mom was
yeah.
at the front of the house.
Yeah, so I mean, he points out like it's kind of like a Chinatown in a James Bond movie where they're in some like really fancy but really stereotypical Chinese restaurant or bar or club or something.
Yeah, that's where you go when you go to Chinatown. You don't want to go to a normal shop. It's got to look like it's in Chinatown.
And he talks about all the various like.
Have you been to Chinatown?
I don't think I've been to any of the big city ones. No.
Anyway, go on.
So yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like I keep struggling because I don't know how.
Yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of notes.
Like I have questions, I guess, and they're not questions that can be answered in this podcast.
I can give it a shot. I'm a quarter.
Oh god. So I understand that the original Chinatowns like on the West Coast were extremely overtly racist constructions. Like Chinese people lived there because that's the only place they were allowed to live. There were laws passed that said they could only live in these specific places. And so there's obviously like a ton of complicated history and culture and emotion tied up in that, because now Chinatowns are kind of like a place of pride, but because it's that noir detective thing. It's like because Chinatowns were a ghetto, they white people would go there to slum it. Like that's where illicit drug deals would go down. It's exotic. It's dangerous. It's sexy.
We're gonna go to the mahjong parlor.
Well, no, they're gonna go. They're gonna go to one of these. They're gonna go to one of these clubs. There's gonna be, opium and
hell yeah,
heavily sexualized.
Does anyone even sell? Oh, I mean, I'm sure they do, but like, I assume that it's refined into something else.
Dude, I don't know. Do I look like I've done opium to you?
No, because we're classy, so we do cocaine.
Do I bring the kind of energy to this podcast?
I mean, morphine's derived from opium, so I guess it's fentanyl. It would be the closest widespread analog. I guess that makes sense.
Heroin is the closest widespread analog.
Well, fentanyl is the one we're cracking down on right now, okay?
Well, that's because that's the one that kills you instantly.
It's 8 times more potent than morphine, all right?
Yeah, so, but that's the kind of Chinatown it is. But it's also...
It also comes in fun colors, Ben. Don't forget about that. When did heroin ever come in fun colors?
Oh, you're talking about fentanyl, not Chinatown.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Chinatown also comes in fun colors. They're very brightly painted.
Okay. Yeah.
It's got to look like what you think Chinatown would look like. That's how it gets the tourists.
Okay. I've never been.
You should go.
I've never toured Chinatown.
Hop on a train.
Well, now I feel weird. It seems like it's
Ben. They want your money.
Oh, Jesus.
You go down there, you drop a bunch of money. They like you. I mean, your money. You can get out now.
Okay.
But
so there's two kinds of Chinatown in this. There's the Chinatown in the show, and there's the Chinatown as he lives in his day-to-day life. And the Chinatown in the, I don't know, real life of the show is an ordinary, like, impoverished neighborhood.
But he can't escape.
He can't escape. He's trapped there. And older brother, though, has escaped.
Yeah, that's because he was Kung Fu guy.
No, he stopped being Kung Fu guy.
Yeah.
When he had it, he rejected it. And that's going to be important.
That will be important later. Symbolic, Ben.
Yeah. So in the show, though, it is this exotified James Bond type thing with, drug lords and the triads and prostitution and all that stuff. And he's got to kind of play into that. He's got to play into that to get his spot on Black and White. And that's a way of looking at it. I understand what he's going for there. I understand what Charles Yu is going for there. It's a book all about the roles we play and how much of our.
I had to tell that to you before you started because you really did not want to read something about the TV industry. And I'm like, I agree. No. That sounds like a nightmare.
No, I did not. And I still kind of wound up doing that, but it was weird. It's so, yeah, I mean, ultimately, I feel like this is more a book about his parents than it is about him. If that makes sense. Because the main character goes on this journey, but his journey doesn't really make a ton of sense. And
what are you talking about, Ben? So he's on the TV show. He's got a guest starring role now. But then he dies. It turns out you can't work for 45 days after you've been killed, because that's the minimal amount of time that we need to forget who you are. And so during that time, he meets a lady, Ben. Karen. She's the quarter Taiwanese, but she could pass for white. Ditto.
Speak your truth, Nate.
And then they do a romantic montage, Ben, where they just quickly talk about how they're hitting it off. And then they're hitting it off some more. And then they're hitting it off some more. And now they're married. And then they have a baby. She's pregnant. She's also way more successful than he is. She's going to get her own show. Is that a metaphor for something? Like she's got a job outside of Chinatown so she can leave? Or
so this is one of my things.
Is this a real show?
This is one of my things.
She's an actress.
This is one of my things about the about the deflection. Does it mean something?
Let's ask
I don't
Tolkien.
know. What do you think it means? Like, you can do that with a large chunk of the book. And that's what I mean when I say he's...
It means nothing.
That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. But that's kind of what I mean when I say there's the race discussions introduce complications, and they introduce all kinds of like intersectional problems and how do different races engage with one another and organize to ultimately combat the real problem, which is white supremacy. But then we have the problem of like there's a whole global culture of anti-blackness, and there's a global culture of misogyny, and he introduces all of that to his credit. Like he's not unaware of any of these things, and then he kind of does what I think any of us would do when you're like, and now say something about it. Say what your stance is going to be about that, and it's like I'm gonna have to kung fu fight my way out of this jam.
Yep, that is what happens. Yeah, he says something about so she's gonna leave for her own show, Ben.
Yes, she's gonna leave for her.
He's like, but I am so close to being kung fu guy.
We could leave Chinatown, is what she says. Yeah.
No, I gotta be kung fu guy. Whatever that means in this metaphor, or maybe there is a real show and I will be kung fu guy.
I think he's going to be kung fu guy on Law and Order, on Black and White.
The doing what? What do you do? What does these feel like different genres?
Can you imagine Law and Order if Detective Lenny Briscoe also just sometimes randomly had like a kung fu cop?
Yeah,
who would come in and beat up the perps in the deadly serious Law and Order show.
Is it bad that I'm thinking the Karate Kid, Ben?
B.D. Wong was in the Karate Kid, I think. He was in the Karate Kid Part 2.
There you go. So, yeah, it's weird, and I can't figure that one out, but so he's like, you go on ahead without me, and also the baby? Like, hell nah. Seriously? You're going to leave your wife with the fucking baby all on her own? She's going to, like, it's a baby. Those things are annoying as shit anyway.
Well,
he's going to stay here.
She can pay somebody to raise it.
That's true, because she's super successful, and he's not.
Yep.
But then he finally gets it. Over a year goes by, and he's like, I'm actually never going to get that part. I'm an idiot. I gave everything up for nothing. And then he finally gets the part. And then he's like, shit. Success is also a trap, because I can't give up the job of a lifetime. My dream job. I think I'm going to go steal a car and go see my kids. And so he does that.
Yeah, and he
steals Black's car, and then the detective Black's car.
I don't know how much of this still makes it into the episode, so I'm just going to say this now.
That's what you're editing. And then he goes.
Nate's been watching my pained expression for most of this episode and just howling.
And then he goes and he finds Karen and his daughter Phoebe, and she lives in a fictional child show called Phoebe Land, which is painful to listen to on the audiobook. It was really bad. And he's like, whoa, you're like a person now because you're 6 or whatever. Everyone can connect with this if they have kids.
Could you?
Fuck you. Yeah, a little bit. Fuck you. Don't try and do that shit to me.
Well, there's
and he and Karen are going to divorce, because he left his child and his wife to pursue a dream of being the kung fu guy on Law and Order.
Okay, so I definitely think there's something I can parse here with this arc of the book from the time.
Don't be a bad spouse and father.
Well, no, I think what he's saying is when he kung fu guy, we shouldn't be too literal and think that literally Lenny Briscoe.
I will be as literal as I want. There's no such thing. Allegory sucks, Ben, and I don't know what he's trying to say, so I think he's literally going to be Ralph Marciano from the Karate Kid.
His name's Ralph Macchio.
I don't give a shit. I've never seen the movie, Ben.
You've never seen the movie. Stop talking about it.
Crane kick at the end, Ben. He's gonna crane kick. Like Briscoe's gonna be like, "Stop, police!" and the perp is gonna run away. But there he is with the crane kick as he rounds the corner, and he kicks the perp right in the face.
All right. Well, as awesome as that would be, I think what's going on here is Kung Fu Guy represents what? Okay, black and white represents the, I guess, so-called.
They already did one with an Asian detective. It's called Rush Hour.
Oh Jesus. So no,
it had a British guy stealing Hong Kong artifacts.
It's like half of the movies Jackie Chan's ever been in. So no, what I
remember when Hong Kong used to be good. Am I right, fellas?
So the black and white represents the like acceptable on TV view of America and race and gender and all of that.
Well, again, he wouldn't be Kung Fu Guy. He would be Smart Science Man.
Right. That's not the point. The point is Kung Fu Guy it's a joke. It's supposed to be funny, but it's also supposed to symbolize the role he's allowed, the role that white supremacy will allow him to play. That he can be Kung Fu Guy. They'll allow that. What they will not allow is anything that like overly humanizes him. They won't allow him, because will they allow him to be husband? Will they allow him to be father? And so he
also he didn't want to be husband.
Well, that's the thing, because he's become obsessed because the logic of black and white got into his head.
What white supremacy wants.
Right. And now he's doing it to himself.
Yeah.
And I think that seems to be the overall message the book is going for, is that he's succumbed.
So does he get that divorce in the end, Ben?
No, they don't get divorced in the end. He's succumbed to the internalized racism. Like he's internalized the message of black and white, and he's putting.
How does he solve this problem, Ben?
By loving his family.
By kung fu fighting his way out of a
yeah, he does kind of do that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's not by him rejecting he becomes Kung Fu Guy, and so does his older brother, who is a lawyer. That is how they break the bondage, Ben.
But wasn't that funny? Wasn't that funny?
What the fuck? Yeah, kind of, but also like it does kind of destroy the message, you know? If literally on the cracks of Mount Doom, Frodo is like, actually, using this ring, I can just go beat Sauron. And then he does that, and the day is saved. That'd be kind of weird. Like, at the very end, he's like, you know what?
Well, the whole book is played as a comedy.
Oh, is that what that's supposed to be? Okay.
It would have been funnier if this part wasn't...
Like that one time when his dad's dad got shot to death by either, I think, communist soldiers, right?
Communists, yeah.
His dad ran back in the house to get the deed to the land, and then he got shot to death in front of his son and his wife, and it was and blood went everywhere, and it was like, hooray!
I was going to say it would have been a lot more lighthearted if it hadn't been immediately preceded by what I assume are the at least somewhat real life stories of his actual immigrant parents going through some brutal fucking hard times. And what is it? He winds up going through all this stuff in Taiwan with the war there. And then the dad moves here, and he's to go to school, and he's placed with a bunch of other Asian immigrants from different countries, and some good old boys beat the crap out of one of them, and they live in fear, and it's very
and one of them becomes a super successful like patent writer and scientist man who then kills himself. Yeah, that was great.
It was not funny at all.
No,
it was like, oh god, maybe that's the book.
I didn't realize that it was supposed to be funny.
No, it was. Well, that part wasn't supposed to be funny.
Yeah,
but also, like, does that part take place? Because then his dad winds up in Chinatown, in the quirky TV show land, and his mom also goes through a ton of problems where she's like pretty Asian woman, and then she winds up staying with her sister, but her sister's husband starts making passes at her, and her sister blames her and ships her off somewhere else, and then eventually she has to take care of her sister as her sister's dying, and those experiences are pretty brutal, and kind of this is what I was saying. I think kind of the hope was like they came here and they came together and they raised him, and it really is about like trying to give him a better life, because there's this scene where like when he decides to have a speaking role and when he puts on the accent, his dad's kind of disappointed. His dad didn't want him to do this, but at the time in the book you're like, well, what else could he do? And maybe that's even part of the metaphor, is like he's so much, because there's a trial.
Yes. So they show up because he stole Detective Black's car, and then there's a trial, but that's not what the trial's about. Oh, and his older brother shows up. He's the lawyer.
So at the trial, it kind of comes out that the like Black and White, the show, is at least partly his own delusion.
Yeah.
And his own racism and his own misogyny. And it's at the trial that he realizes he's built this prison in his mind. And I kind of wonder if there's another level to it. Like, if he built the prison of Chinatown in his mind, did he also build other aspects of Chinatown in his mind? Like, is he building that like communal immigrant experience in his mind? Is he idealizing some things and demonizing others? And he gets called out briefly by the lady cop for his misogyny. He gets called out briefly by the black cop, who is named Black, for his racism, or at least his prejudice, I guess, towards black people on TV. Because he kind of sees like there's a thread throughout the book where he sees race relations as purely black and white. He sees race relations as between black people and white people. And I guess he feels that's how TV has always framed it, that the only minority who suffered was the minority that was subject to slavery. And then he gives a lecture on all of the atrocities, not all of them, but many of the atrocities that happened to specifically kind of Chinese immigrants.
He does leave out the internment camps.
He does leave out the Japanese internment camps, which is a pretty big, pretty recent one. Like my grandmother's still alive. She had Japanese neighbors who were taken, like they had to watch their house and stuff.
Yeah, I think he was specifically focusing more on Chinese, Taiwanese, right?
Yeah, which is his experience. And that makes sense to me. But he doesn't... That makes sense to me that he's focusing specifically on the Taiwanese experience, but when he is in the world of black and white, he generalizes it to Asian. And that's complicated. And I think he generalizes...
Yeah, again, the idea is all Southeast Asians look the same too, right?
Yeah.
That's the idea. That's the stereotype that they're working with.
He introduces all this, like I said, and I think there's metaphors and stuff, and he's realizing maybe the point of the book is just to have some awareness of this. Like maybe there are no answers. I think he does point to white supremacy as the main problem in America as far as race relations go, and I would agree with that. I think he points to the fact that minorities or different ethnic groups and women, they're often played against each other to the advantage of white supremacy.
Yes.
And I would agree with that as well. And I think he's arguing for more awareness of the prisons people build in their own mind, more awareness of how this culture can get into your head and co-opt you into working for it. And that's a really interesting point. And then the judges at the trial are like, yeah, we don't care. You're guilty. It's like, well, guess I'm kung fu fighting my way out of here.
Yep. And then he wakes up, and his daughter, who is able to pass between worlds, Ben, flawlessly pass between the world of white people and Asian people.
Well, I think she doesn't have those prisons in her mind. I think she's young enough, and
we've still got time.
Well, she's young enough, and maybe he's saying that the things can change. She's young enough, and maybe the world.
The idea is that our children shouldn't have the same problems we had. They should have whole new problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you all figured out.
We don't have to worry about the ozone anymore, but boy, that climate change from global warming. Whoops.
No, I'm glad you all figured out how to get along and live together, because it's gonna be rough. But yeah, that's kind of the end of the book.
Yeah, he kung fu fights, and he awakens in exterior Chinatown, and I presume he then leaves Chinatown to go be with his wife and kids.
I don't know what Chinatown is.
It's a place you go to get Chinese food in Chicago.
I don't know what Chinatown is to Willis, I should say.
It's a place where his parents lived, and he also lived for a time, but now he's leaving. He realizes that you can get takeout Chinese food anywhere, and he wants to be with his wife and his child instead of being a deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
No allegory here, Ben. This is all literal. He kung fu fought his way out of court, and then he woke up from his dream, and his daughter was like, "Are you sticking around, Daddy?" And he's like, "You know what? I think I will." The end. And then they went on and elected Barack Obama to be the president of the United States, and we ended racism forever.
Oh, that's not the direction that went. Oh, yeah. No, so I don't know. What are your thoughts on the metaphor and the message? Like, do you think did you get what he was going for? Did you get the things I was saying?
I got the role thing. We're trapped in roles, or we play different roles throughout our lives and even our day-to-day. I don't know the thing about, like, you know what? I've decided I'm not going to be Kung Fu guy. I can be a person. Now let's karate fight our way out of this courtroom, brother. Hi-ya! That was maybe going against what the message was, but You know, you do you.
I wonder if maybe like I want too much for it to have a message, or I want too much to read into it.
Yeah, that's how books get you.
Because I think,
And stage plays.
well, I think it's supposed to be fun, stylized, quirky, thoughtful, um, and say something about the author's own complicated relationship with identity. And should I fault it for not having all the answers? I think I've had this problem with
Yes.
other books in the past.
100%. You can fault it, maybe not for having all the answers, but for not having he brings it up, he reflects on it a little bit, and then that's it. We're done. Like he scratches, it feels like, the surface and doesn't dig much deeper.
That's kind of what I feel, and I think
You don't have to have all the answers, but you should. If you're going to bring it up, you should explore it a bit more.
So I'll tell you where scratching the surface really feels like a problem is his wife falls in love with him, and I don't really know why. And
because he's got
he blows through it because he doesn't care about that part of the book.
But that's the crux for him.
Well,
getting out of it.
The crux for him getting out of it, I really think, is his relationship with his daughter, which he doesn't have. Because I think that's, if so much of the resolution is going to rely on him wanting to play the role of husband and father, it doesn't do a very good job of articulating why.
He's giving up his role as kung fu guy to be dad and husband, and he does that by being kung fu guy.
Well, and I understand why any person would want to choose their daughter over their career, especially a career they realize they don't really want. What, I don't know, what does his daughter mean to him? What does he want for his daughter?
I don't know. She's like a person or something. He also yada yadas through that.
Yeah,
he meets his daughter. They do a little bit of interaction. And he's like, "Wow, where have I been all this time? And doing what?" And it's like, you're being kung fu guy, and you stole a car. I don't know what the stealing the car metaphor is, or if it's even a metaphor. But
I think we just need it out of that place.
He
needed some big, exciting way to get to the next set of the story. And I don't know, he doesn't really fix his relationship with his wife.
No. He kung fu fights his way out of a courtroom and wakes up, and then I assume they just don't get a divorce after all.
Yeah. Maybe it works better as a TV show. I don't know. Because it got adapted.
The TV show is apparently like there's a murder, like a real murder, I think. I don't know. I'm not going to check it out. Someone tell me how it is.
So I read the reviews after the fact.
Yeah.
And they are polarized. It seems to be a love it or hate it kind of book. At least from the ones I saw. I've seen criticisms of it that I think are too harsh. I've seen praise of it that I think is a little undeserved. Because I've seen a lot of people saying, like, and this is the problem when you try to go off on these kinds of topics, is they're very important to a lot of people, and you're never going to do it quite right. And I think there were some people punishing him for his honesty about his own blind spots, and I don't think that was necessarily in the best faith. There were parts of the book early on where he's talking about, Black and White, the detectives, and I was like, oh, that's a stance. But then he was going somewhere with that, as he realizes in the trial that that's a wrong stance to have. But it also doesn't feel like he super got why it was a wrong stance to have. Like, he intellectually knows it's a wrong stance, or it's prejudiced, but he didn't show why it was wrong. They were just like, he yada yadas it. So I think I don't think he's saying anything bad, but I don't think he's fully making the point he wants to be making. And then like a lot of the 5-star reviews I saw were giving him credit for like writing like one of the most insightful books that perfectly conveys this experience. And this is one where I'll have to say, maybe it does. It's not my experience. I've never had it.
As a quarter Asian man.
Oh, jeez. Was it your grandmother's experience?
No, I guess the closest analog would be my parents, right? My mom. I doubt this was her experience. She didn't. My grandma did not teach her children Japanese because she was too busy learning English.
Okay. I mean, that's interesting. Yeah, and that's so. I guess that's probably the answer, though, is that there is no single experience. He can only really talk about his own and his parents, but at times it seems like he's claiming that experience is the general experience of all or most Asian immigrants, and it certainly is not. But I don't think that. I keep coming back to like it's in the middle for me. Like, I think it gets you thinking about all the right stuff, but it doesn't have a lot of guidance for you on where to go with these thoughts. That could well be because Charles Yu doesn't know where to go with these thoughts any more than any of us. It's tough. You can really only decide which roles you want to play. Would you like to rubric it?
Sure, let's rubric it, Ben.
Do you have any insightful final thoughts? Ninja. I feel like I was carrying that.
Yeah, you were, because I'm kind of like, oh, we're done now. Just like the book, Ben. I'm giving the audience a bit of what the book is. I gave you my thoughts, which is that brings up some good points, and then just kind of like, maybe he doesn't say enough about him. The end. That's the book, and that's my thought.
That's a neat promise. You could take that to the bank.
Yeah, if he can get away.
Oh, no.
With not fully developing the plot.
Okay.
I can also get away with it. Because I got that quarter in me, Ben. blog.wordsaboutbooks.ninja/rubric.html, Ben. Content and ideas. I went with a 3.
I'm going to do a super cut of I got that quarter in me. And I'm going to send it to your mother.
I hope you do. Well, she's got that half in her, so.
It's 2 quarters. Okay.
So this is where I gave it a 3 because of the underdeveloped nature. And I can see, if you want to say it's clearly developed, I could see that, but
no, I'm gonna go with a 3. I'm going with a 3. I think if it wasn't a screenplay, I wonder if it would have gotten, like, if it wasn't a screenplay taking place in a fantastical Law and Order world, would it have garnered as much attention as it did? I don't know. So I think there might be a little bit of style over substance. So I think that's why I'll go with a 3.
Yeah, I could see that. Organization, Ben.
Yeah. So it's opinions are going to vary wildly on this.
Wow.
I'm going down the middle and saying a 3.
That's also what I went with.
But I mean, people rubricing this. If you at home are following along and rubricing,
and you should,
people are. I think the whole book really depends on whether or not you find this format to be really fun or really tedious. And I don't think there's a lot of in between.
It's the Words About Books challenge, where you read every book we read, you follow along with us, and then you rubric it on your own.
Yeah. We should put some like affiliate links in there. So you like buy the books, but like buy them.
Yeah. Buy them so we get some,
Give me a
some
cut.
of that.
Yeah. We do have, I set those up a long time ago. Like I got one for Amazon. I got one for books.org.
Yeah. Use our affiliate links.
I don't post them anywhere.
Damn it.
I should. Maybe I'll take out like Blue Sky and Instagram and I'll put in like buy the books.
Well, we don't use Blue Sky, right? So
we did
a long time ago.
I quit a little bit ago. Anyway, use of language.
The 3.
I'll go up to a 4.
Okay.
I think here's the definition of a 4. Language is engaging and adds flavor to the characters in the world. Language creates an atmosphere for the book. I'm going to give him points for the format here, the screenplay nature, the dream world, Kung Fu guy, the symbolism. Like this is really working those English composition muscles. It didn't work for me. I don't particularly like it, but I'm going to say credit where credit's due. I think he's doing something new and interesting here. And I would say it's new and interesting in a way that House of Leaves was not. Like, I like when people, if you're going to try to do something new and interesting with books, better this than that, in my opinion.
Personal preference, Ben.
That's a 2. It's not for me.
I think I went 3 down the middle. I think I was like, it wasn't like bad. It was all right, I guess.
I went 3 for recommendation strength. The genre.
I also went 3.
The genre I'm imagining is literary fiction. If you like to read the newest award-winningest bestseller list books, I think this is up there.
If you want to join the Oprah book club, this would be on it. If that was a thing.
Has it been on it?
Well, it came out in 2020, and Oprah hasn't had a book club, right?
No, isn't she still going?
She fucking better not, because that's our thing now.
Yeah, dude, she's still going.
Wow.
I don't know why you thought Oprah quit.
I wanted to believe, Ben.
No, here's a picture of Oprah holding a book. Yeah. So overall, I think that was a 54 out of 100 for me.
It's 55 for me.
So there you go. You liked it a little more.
Right down the middle.
Yeah. Well, Nate, I'm out of words.
But we're not out of books.
No, unfortunately, we're not.
So I think I don't know how to end the podcast. You want kung fu fight your way out of this podcast, Ben? Is that?
I don't think that would be appropriate.
You're right. We're white dudes.
Oh, are you admitting?
Do you want to do really, really bad rap our way out of this? Podcast?
Dude, Snow Crash is a whole other thing. There's so much wrong with that.
Oh God! Please tell me there's no more raps other than that original one.
No, I don't know about the rap. I haven't even gotten to that. I'm not.
It started so promising, Ben.
Well, so anyway, why don't you, since I had to do all the heavy lifting, why don't you thank our patrons?
Yeah. Thank our patrons, one of whom was responsible for this book. But if you want to get in on that, you can go to our Patreon. We've got a ton of patrons, but there are some that are more patron than the other patrons. Those are our $10 yacht tier subscribers. We've got Shy with Y on TikTok and also at an improv theater in Pennsylvania. I think Harrisburg.
That's right.
All right. Also been listening to me talking about that quarter. John Bierce, a real author. Unlike us, he has lots of published books, including The Rack, which is a Wabi award-winning book, Ben. Big facts. As well as the Mage Errant series and The City That Would Eat the World. You can also follow him on his Patreon. You've got Isekai Sensei Sama. From That Time I Got Reincarnated in the Same World as an Anime Podcast. Your podcast is Interior Chinatown and Isekai. I don't know.
Oh, that's actually a decent question.
Right?
I think it could be. He does die and come back.
That's true. Got Jacob Lansky doing whatever the fuck he wants, motherfucker. And finally, you've got the guy who made this entire episode possible. You can thank him for all of this. It's the Gravy Man, Jamie, on ifyouwantthegravy.wordpress.com, where he reviews everything except for books. So I hope that he has watched the TV adaptation of Interior Chinatown and has reviewed it, because that's the only way I will ever be exposed to. All right, I get them all. My brother could probably pass for Asia if he said that he was Asian. He could probably pass.
Unfortunately, you're blonde.
Yeah, he has jet black hair.
Yeah, so
and tan skin, brown eyes.
Yeah,
we do not look alike.
You can say that. I can't.
Yeah, I've got that quarter in me. I got back.
Please stop saying it. He just keeps saying, "I got that quarter in me."
My mom is actually the whitest looking of her her two siblings. There's three of them together.
So, at the trial,
maybe we should get him on this podcast because he can pass for Asian. So when he says stuff, it's okay.
Okay, I've taken my glasses off.
That's why you're editing this episode, buddy.